Hello, good evening, and welcome to another late night amateur soda pop review. Where tonight we'll be tasting Coca Cola with coffee, but this time we're going to look at there's no good way to read that, caramel flavor. Um, this is a special Who Needs Sleep edition of the soda pop review because, it's Coke and it's coffee. So, um, Coke didn't have enough caffeine on its own. Interesting facet here as I slowly rotate the can is that we are still looking at only 70 calories per 12-ounce can, which is a bit down from the usual can of Coke or other soda pop. Um, so we'll see how this goes. This is the third of the flavors that we're trying. First, we had the dark blend, which was a very interesting blend of Coke and just coffee. Then we had the vanilla, which tended to go more toward the soda pop Coke flavor, and sort of the vanilla served to tamp down the dark richness of the coffee, if you will. So I'm interested to see how well this goes with respect to. They managed to get Coke and caramel to work fairly well about a year ago. A little bit more than that, actually. But I guess we'll see how this is. All right, then. Okay. Yeah, as I figured, this is a happy medium. It uh, it does not, or you definitely taste the coffee more so than in the vanilla, but not as much as in the dark blend. The dark blend has a little bit more of an edge to it. This has less of that coffee mouth feel, and the caramel serves to, I guess, mellow that. I guess that would be the bottom part of the coffee flavor out. So you can still you can taste the Coke, you can taste the coffee, um, uh, but yeah, it's sort of a happy medium. The caramel flavoring plays in between the two of them and sort of weaves them together a bit better than the vanilla did. Um, yeah, that's pretty good. As with the other two varieties, the mouthfeel is a bit less like Coke because there's not quite as much fizz, even though the first ingredient of this is still carbonated water. I mean, it's carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, um, caramel coloring, those sorts of things. The fourth ingredient is coffee powder, and then you get into natural flavorings and preservatives and such. Um, so, uh, it's kind of like a Coke, only less fizzy. So you get that same rounded sort of mouthfeel that you would normally get with a Coke. It's not as sharp a fizz as Dr. Pepper, and it's not quite as smooth as, say, a Mountain Dew or a Code Red or something like that. Um, and again, you've got the coffee comes right up front. You feel that right at the front of your mouth, uh, adding its smoothness in there, and also giving you that sort of a coffee feeling on your teeth and on the top of your tongue that you might get from a regular cup of coffee, I imagine, or certainly from a latte. At least that's my experience. So the coffee is in front and underneath, and the soda is kind of on top of that, um, probably aided by the carbonation. Um, but yeah, this is actually pretty good. Again, it's more mellow than the dark blend. The dark blend had that well, dark, but that it's hard to describe it. That coffee flavor, that woodiness, that not quite smokiness, but um, whatever, however you would describe coffee without saying coffee. I'm really not sure how else to put it. Whereas this downplays that flavor a little bit while maintaining the same sort of mouthfeel. So it's still a soda pop, but not as much. There's a bit of perhaps creaminess to it, a bit more smoothness to it, and yeah, mm, this is just yummy. Let's see what we've got here as far as the color goes. Now the dark blend was just an opaque black, whereas the vanilla variety was a little less so. And this, I'm sorry, I'm holding up to a light here so I can better see it, but you can see, well, some of that are just the streaks in the glass. I apologize for my horrendous glassware here. But we still have that fairly opaque black color, maybe a little less so. Mm. And there's a fair amount of fizz to it, but as I said, it's kind of tamped down, and underneath it, you've got the coffee notes um, playing there. You've got that rich, again, sort of woody, smoky coffee flavor. I mean, it's coffee. Maybe I should look into my thesaurus to see how best I can describe the coffee flavor. But as it turns out, the caramel and the cola nuts and the coffee beans all seem to be playing pretty well together, actually. Uh, Little surprise, I should think. Because even the caramel Pepsi tasted pretty good. The cola nuts lend itself to that to the creamy, rich flavor of a caramel. It's not too far removed, and so to then bring in coffee beans, just I think just a sort of a natural offshoot of that. So let's bring us back to our original questions. Would I take this over a uh, regular Coke? Would I take this over a Coke with caramel? Would I take this over the Coca-Cola with coffee dark blend variety? So many different contrasting and comparisons. Um, excuse me. I would have to say that given the choice between the two, I would probably take this over the Coke with caramel. Academic because they don't make the Coke with caramel anymore. Uh, Now, with respect to a regular Coke, I guess it would depend upon whether I'm just genuinely thirsty or I'm just in the mood for a really tasty drink or in need of a pick me up as well. Um, so that would be kind of situational. If I was just going to sit down and I was just thirsty and needed something available, then I would have a Coke. If I wanted just a really yummy drink, or again something with a little more pep to it than your typical Coke, I would take this. Um, Both are pretty darn good. Would I take this over the dark blend? Wow, that's a good question because the dark blend is pretty good. It's a more pronounced coffee flavor than this. So I guess if I was in a mood more for something coffee flavored versus something a little less coffee flavored, uh, if I wanted more coffee flavor, I'd go with the dark blend. If I wanted less coffee flavor, I'd take this. I don't know if that helps. It's a giant middle of the road. I think this is actually pretty yummy. I thought the Coke with the dark blend was pretty yummy, and I enjoy just a straight up Coke now and again. So um, now we get to try and see after sampling this loveliness of caramel and Coke and sugar and coffee if I can actually go to bed at a decent hour without too much trouble. But that's for me to know or me to try. And thank you for watching, and you have a good night.